hour from now to take your questions. So as I'm going through my athlete briefing, think about what you would like to know from pros and Olympians who have done it all, and hang around if you can. This is the championship race of the Lifetime Tri Pro Series, 6th race in the series. For a lot of you, it's a standalone event. I've talked to people who have done this event in different venues, some from Minneapolis, some from Chicago, so glad to have you here. And also, so that you know, this is the championship race of the Toyota Triple Crown. I'm going to explain just a little bit about that so you understand what's going on. Tomorrow morning, you are going to see the female pros start first. And then a predetermined amount of time after them, the men will start. That is what we call the equalizer. It's a handicap system. This is the 3rd race in that Toyota Triple Crown. And what it is men and women in the pro field racing head-to-head against each other. They have to compete in all 3 of the Triple Crown races and finish them. Lowest cumulative time, male or female, of all 3 of those races, one bonus check, $50,000 from the good folks at Toyota. That's the Toyota Triple Crown. So you'll see the women start first, the men start after them tomorrow. And so that you know, there are 11 athletes who have done all 3 of those races, have finished all 3. Some have flatted out, some have DNF'd, all of that kind of thing. We're down to 11. Of those, 7 or 8 are here racing that are still in for the money. The tightest race right now is between Alicia Kay, last year's winner of the Triple Crown, who is currently in 2nd place. She is 25 seconds behind Ben Collins. And then it is spread out. We've got males and females all the way through the next 11. So it'll be quite a race tomorrow. That's why you're going to see the women start first. So if you can get down there. The boys are chasing the girls tomorrow, as it should be, and they will be out there bright and early with a lot on the line. Another reason I want to mention that is with two-loop bike courses. Last year we had several of our amateur athletes out there mixing it up with the pros. Pros have different drafting zones than you do. And there were several of our enthusiastic amateurs who would pull right up alongside of a pro yelling, "Yeah, go get them, we love you." And you were in their drafting zone. And they could pick up a penalty for that. And it would cost them a lot of money if they did. So if you're out there mixing it up with the pros, give them their space no matter how much you want to cheer them on, all right? You can catch them later on in the day. For this race and all lifetime races, USAT rules of procedure apply. I'll talk about some of them specifically, but the rules will be enforced throughout all of our amateur athletes as well as our pros. If you don't know the rules, if you have any questions, come up and see me. In transition in the morning will be our USAT officials. They would be much happier to help you out before the race and make sure that you know exactly what's going on than have to stop you and penalize you during the race. Something else I want to mention right at the top, no race would be able to take place without volunteers. We have a ton of volunteers here, so I'm going to ask you to do 3 things for them. Please give them a big, big thank you whenever you see them. When they're trying to help you out, make sure that you're listening to them. They're trying to guide you as best they can. And always respect them. Even if you hit tomorrow during the race, at some point, that moment that you think is the most frustrating moment you have ever hit in your life, make sure you look at a volunteer, smile at them, and let that dissipate into a big thanks. So respect them, thank them. If you ever want to be around an event and are not in shape to compete or just don't feel like it, try volunteering. You'll get it from a whole different perspective. And speaking of respecting our volunteers tomorrow, you really want to do that because we got a whole bunch of them from Camp Pendleton. And they ain't going to take it. No, they're good guys. And women. They're just terrific. Also, because of the world that we live in, we do have some security measures that I want to talk about. In transition, you want to keep your bag, your gear with your stuff at your spot in the bike rack at all times. And you will have specific spots in both T1 and T2. If we notice a random bag laying somewhere along a fence or anything, it's just going to disappear. And for spectators and athletes alike, anytime outside of transition, if you have a bag, keep it on you. If we see anything random, again, it will be just taken out of the area. You understand why. We appreciate your cooperation. It'll just make life a little simpler. As you picked up your packet today, you received an assignment for parking. Please respect that assignment and use that one. They have done math on the parking spaces, so if you start moving around, you might not be able to get in or whatever. There's also parking available on some of the side streets, but if there is a no parking sign, please obey it because you will get towed and you will get ticketed. For instance, there's no parking in the metered spots on Pacific between Surfrider and Sea Gaze. That is part of the course. Anything like that, your car won't be there when you get back. So make sure that you follow those parking rules. And tomorrow morning, shuttle buses are going to start at 4:30, and they're going to run till 10 a.m., continuous round trips. from this area down to the area near the harbor. That will drop off right by Joe's Crab Shack. So from there, it's about a half-mile walk around to the harbor. But it is an easy way to go. From here, it is about a mile and a half from T2 to the harbor. So plan to use those shuttle buses. However, you cannot take a bike on a shuttle bus. So we're recommending the people rack today. Transition down at the harbor, T1 is already open. They're racking today. So if you can get that done, that's great. And then those shuttle buses are for athletes and spectators alike. Here, they're going to pick up in front of the cinemas on Mission. So about a block and a half from T2. But highly recommend that. Try and think about it so that you can plan out your day tomorrow. And if you can rack today, we've got a good-sized field, so it'll just simplify things for you in the morning. A lot of people have already even dropped off their run stuff in T2 today. I see some shoes there on towels and some bags there. So think about doing what you can to simplify your life tomorrow morning. Make sure that you bring your race numbers. You've got a bike number that goes on the bike and an adhesive number that goes on the helmet. Have that bike number on the bike before you get to transition. You have a bib number that must be worn on the front of you during the run. So if you're not going to wear it on the bike, make sure that that ends up in T2 because that's where you're going to pick up your run stuff. You've also got your timing chip and your strap. Make sure that goes with you to the swim start. If you do not have that, you're going to need to get another one, and it's going to cost you a few bucks, but make sure that you've got that, otherwise you will not get time tomorrow. Wetsuits will be legal for our age groupers. Water temp has been in the upper 60s. It hit 70 once, but right now it's holding in the upper 60s. We'll get an official race day water temperature tomorrow, but all summer long, it has not gotten high enough that it would be a cutoff for our age groupers. Don't forget your cycling helmet. If you do not have a CPSC, that's Consumer Product Safety Commission approved helmet, you will not be allowed on the course. So make sure you've got your bike helmet with that number on it. Also, one of the most important things, wristband. You've all got those athlete wristbands. Some of you have the Michelob Ultra wristband also, which is somewhat important. But the athlete wristband, that brightly colored one, says that you are in this race. That means you can get into transition before, during, and equally as important, after the race. If you do not have that wristband on after the race, you will not be able to retrieve your gear. So hang on to that. That says you are a part of the race. Remember everything else. Take a full water bottle out there. There is one aid station out there on the bike course. That is on the International. International and Sprint will both pass it, but it's about mile 14 and a half. I don't expect too many sprinters to use it, but head out there with a water bottle. They keep saying it's going to cool down here, but it hasn't yet, so be prepared. If you need anything, take a walk through the expo. These folks are experts at the sport of triathlon, and they will get you taken care of. Let's talk a couple of things about transition. Again, have your bike number on, your helmet out, your chip on, and your wristband on to get in there. Participants only in transition before, during, and after the race. Don't ride your bike in transition at any time. Your bike needs end plugs. If you have open handlebars, you have to get those plugged. USAT will not allow you to race without those. I would bet that Nitro or Endurance House could have them or could hook you up, but you have to have those or USAT will not let you race tomorrow. Remember, no glass in transition, and as I said, in both transition, you're going to rack specifically by numbers. There are a series of numbers on the ends of the racks, either that or waves. I'm not sure which they did, but your number is on your spot in both of those. Today, T1 and T2 are both open so that you can drop your stuff off. Again, T2 is run, T1 is swim to bike. We'll be racking bikes until 6. We'll close up T2 here for the run stuff at 5:30. And then tomorrow morning, T2 opens at 4:30 and is open until 6. So if you're going to wait to drop stuff off till tomorrow morning, between 4:30 and 6, that is when you have to get in there. Then we're going to lock it down. 4:45 until 7:35 is when T1 down at the harbor will be open. Regardless of when you start, 6:35. Everybody out because our pros start at 6:45. We have to have a secure transition. So plan that. Build that into your time frame. Gear bags. Let's talk about that because that can be confusing at this race. You have a black bag that we provided. Put a sticker on it. You've got a sticker for it. Not the backpack bag, a black plastic bag. That is for your dry clothes. Anything that if it's a cool morning, you want to wear a hoodie or something down there and then get rid of it before you go. By 7:50, we have to have all of the dry clothes in a truck there. We will point that out in the morning. That will be brought down here outside of T2. That will be the first thing that is available to you after the race. So if you want to put something in there, if you're going to put a personal item in there, make sure it's in a separate bag with your name and everything written on it. but get that nice and tight. Drop that off down there. Red is wet. Red is the wet bag. That's what your wetsuit goes into, anything from the swim. If you take a bicycle pump that won't fit, it won't be transported. It will end up in transition. Anything that does not go securely in that bag will be left behind. So size that out. You don't need a bicycle pump. We have Bike Tech in transition 1 tomorrow morning. So make sure that you're thinking that out. If you have a personal bag or if you just want to drop off shoes and running stuff that you need, you can put that in T2 right up the hill here. So get that sorted out. Make sure you're using the proper bags. Once we start the race tomorrow, everybody, like I said, out of transition number 2 at 6 a.m., transition number 1 at the swim start by 6:35, and then no one is allowed back in after the race to pick up their stuff in T2 until everybody is off the bike course. We're guessing that's going to be about 10:30. That's why you're going to put some stuff in that black bag. That will be available. Your red bag will also be available, but it will be later. And if you look at T2 up here, you'll see half of that parking lot has bike racks in it. The other half is open. The open end is where all of your bags are going to end up. Black will be available first. Red will be transported later on. And then you must have everything out of picked up and out of transition by 12:30. Body marking will take place in the morning. Know your wave number. Make sure you know your wave. There are 19 waves, and cap colors repeat. Some waves will have mixed cap colors, so know your wave. We'll call it out by wave, distance, and gender, so know your wave. Relay teams. We've got any relay team people here? Relays. The biker is the only one that goes into either transition. We have relay pens outside of transition. So the swimmer will come up from the swim, meet the biker in the relay pen. Biker will then go get their helmet on. They can have their helmet on. They're going to unrack the bike and go on bike. They will come to T2. The runner will be outside of transition where the biker will come up to them, hand off the chip, and then they'll go rack their bike, and the runner will run through and start the run. So the biker is the one that has the wristband with the number on it. That's the way to put it. Swimmer and runner do not need to go into transitions. As I mentioned, we'll have Bike Tech support. Nitro Multisport will be in transition number 1. Endurance House will be out on the course. All right, that was a lot of just logistical stuff that you get with a point-to-point race. Anybody have questions on that before I move on to the course? Yes, sir. They will take place in transition number 1, and they should be ready as soon as you get there. Yes, sir. For T2, you can use your own. Okay? Yes. I believe they will be right there at the entrance, but you'll see the relay pens laid out there when you get there. There'll be a specific relay pen. And I believe it is at the entrance. Sometimes they put it at the exits, wherever they've got the most room. All right, let's move on to the swim. And this swim, I have the international maps up here because I can point out the sprint course also. If you want to look specifically at sprint maps, they are right over here in the Toyota display. But the swim, very straightforward. We will line you up by your wave number. You will cross some timing mats as you get into the water. That will register that you are in that wave. If you go around those mats, you might have a great swim, bike, and run, but no one will know how long it took you. Your time will actually start with the horn on each wave. It isn't in the water start. They're only about 3 minutes apart, so you won't be treading water for more than a minute, minute and a half. That will also be your only opportunity to warm up. And if you are going to do that, we need you to swim directly back from the swim start. Not in front of it, not to the side, but directly back of it. And myself and fellow announcer Rudy will be counting it down. They've already set up the PA down there so you can keep track of time. Get in the water. Sprint and international alike, all but the last buoys are off your left shoulder. This map is reversed. We're swimming counterclockwise. So on the way out, you are going to have all yellow buoys. We're going to do international first. At the little bend here where you have to make a slight left to keep from going into the boat harbor here, there's these are smaller buoys, spotting buoys. A nice, good-sized round buoy is going to mark this little slight turn here. So just follow that buoy around. Continuing with yellow spotting buoys to a big, it's a triangular, they call it a tetrahedron or something like that. That's a big one out here at the end. You're going to take a left to another big orange buoy. Orange is going to bring you back in. And then you're going to just follow them back in. On the way back, you've got orange. Last buoy for sprint and international is a red one. That one's off your right shoulder. So you come in, you go around it, and up to the boat launch. Make sense to everybody? That is the international swim. Sprinters, you're going to have two little green buoys right here. That's where you go up here and over and around and back in. Guards all the way around the course. If you get in a bind, grab onto a boat, catch your breath. That's okay. They're not going to move you ahead, but they will let you hang on. The only caveat to the number of times you can hang on is if our guards or our race officials decide that you're doing a lot more standing there or hanging on than you are making forward progress. They might convince you that tomorrow's not your day, and they will eventually win that argument. So just let them know. You'll also hear some cheering from the rocks around the outside by the harbor seals that like to sit there in the sun and watch you guys. They just make a little noise and have some fun. They stay off on the rocks. Also, for our spectators this year, they can get all the way around and right down there on the pier and watch you swim. So spectators have a good vantage point. Get out of the water. You're going to run up another boat ramp and right into transition. It's very close. We do have there by the swim finish a special needs table. If you need to put some eyeglasses or anything like that on there, just make sure they're clearly marked so you grab the right ones, and they'll be right there at the swim finish area. But this transition and this swim finish are maybe 35, 40 yards, and then once you get into transition, of course, you got to find your way. And then you are going to get your helmet clipped in place before you pull your bike away from the rack. And let's talk about that. When you rack, you're hooking by the seat post with the down wheel on the side where the number is placed. So that's how it is. But anyway, you're going to unhook, go to the north side of transition. Outside of transition, somewhere out there, I haven't seen it yet, but they'll be on the ground, a bike mount-up spot. So that's what I have on the swim. Questions on that before I move on to the bike? Swim's pretty straightforward. Just be there early, know your wave, and we will just command you from there as to when to get lined up, where to get in the water, and all that good stuff. They actually have the majority of the buoys are out, so if you want to go down there today to the harbor, you can see the majority of them. They had to leave some of them out so the boats can continue to get in and out. They'll drop the last of them in the morning, but you can see a pretty good layout of the course right now. All right, no questions on the swim. Let's go on to the bike, and quite honestly, we need to talk about USAT rules at this point because they are rules of fair play, but especially on the bike, if you follow them, it's going to be a lot safer for everybody out there. So on the bike course, ride right, pass left, stay 3 bike lengths back from the person in front of you. That's the drafting rule. What it really means is if something bad happens to the person in front of you, you've got time to react. If you're going to pass somebody, you've got 15 seconds to complete the pass, and it is a one-way street. So if you can't make it in 15, don't try. If you are the person being passed, the moment the other competitor's front wheel breaks the forward plane of your front wheel, you must then drop back out of the drafting zone and let them complete the pass, all right? Otherwise, you'll get picked up for the drafting penalty. Up until their front wheel gets ahead of yours, you can race your tail off. As soon as they pass you, you've got to drop back. Like I said, 15 seconds to complete the pass. Talk to each other out there. Let somebody know you're coming around them. Just holler out on your left, and that way you're communicating with each other. Remember, no headphones, bike or run. We are sharing the roads. Sometimes we have the roads. Sometimes we're sharing them with vehicles. Sometimes, whenever that happens, we're coned away. But we need to make sure that you're talking to each other and our race officials. So remember those things. Ride right, pass left, 3 bike lengths back, talk to each other, and just make sure that you are staying single file. Even if you can see the next person you're going to pass up there. If there is room before you hit their drafting zone, you must pull back over the right. Otherwise, it's a position violation. It's blocking. It's frustrating. It's dangerous. So remember that. We'll all get through this safe and sound. This is a double 2-loop bike course. What that means, we're doing international. You're doing 2 loops of what I'm going to call Loop A and 2 laps of Loop B. Sprint, you're doing 2 laps of Loop A only. So I'm going to take us all together, get us back to T2, and then international, you will see where you're going from there. So you're going to come out of the harbor, weave your way through, you're going to come around Harbor Drive, and right about Joe's Crab Shack, there is that little underpass there that's just about, this tall. There's a speed bump on either side. And by the way, if you want to check out our bike course, bright orange tape will take you around that entire course where it's safe for you to go today. In some ways, you're going against traffic, so you can't get there, but it's already out. You're going to get underneath there, go through the parking lot. It will be coned off which direction you go through the parking lot. Coming up to the highway and following along, there's a little bit of a rough spots on this bridge. They are marked, especially the expansion joints. When you see orange tape, either follow it or stay away from it if any bad spots are marked in the orange tape. And then to get on 76, you'll be going on the exit ramp. So that's one of the spots that you can't really go that way today, but you'll get on the exit ramp. And then everybody is just following 76 out. We have the 2 lanes on the north side of the median. Vehicles have the 2 lanes on the south side of the median. So whichever lane you're in, stay to the right in your lane, which means on the way out and the way back, you're going to be hugging the cones. And there is room to your left to pass. You're going to follow all the way out to, I believe, Fawcett. Take a left on Alex. You've got a U-turn here. It's a pretty round one, but just take it easy. And then back out on 76. Everybody is coming back on 76. And now right here before you get off of 76, there's going to be a sign. It says, second lap, U-turn. Bike finish straight ahead. So the first time out, everybody's going to make that U-turn. Sprint International Light. When you do that, you will be in the right-hand lane. That means people coming onto 76 for the first time are going to start off in the left and have to merge over with you. Does that make sense to everybody? It's a simple merge, but just be aware of it. And then you're all Sprint International Light. Going to repeat this up here on Alex. U-turn all the way back down. Now you've done 2 loops. So you're going to go straight ahead and get off of 76, a little bit on Pacific. On Neptune, when you're on Neptune, that's where your aid station is going to be. And that is right around mile 14 and a half. So sprinters, I don't expect many of you to use it. If you want to, it's there. International, it is a true bottle toss. Gatorade sport bottle, or they believe water sport bottles are going to be first. Gatorade sport bottles second. They may have a little food or fuel that they're handing off to you, and then another trash area. You're going to come left on Cleveland. That's a little bumpy coming on to Cleveland. All the way down Cleveland. It's a little bumpier than you've been before because 76 is in gorgeous shape. It really is. That's where the majority of your race, you're just going to fly out there. And then you're going to come back, as you're coming back down Cleveland, see if I can spot the street name here. Right as you get to the park, off of Cleveland, there's some concrete barriers there that they're going to pull out, and you're going to cut through the park, underneath the bridge, a bridge that goes underneath the train tracks and come up on this side. You'll come up on Myers and take a left here. That little area underneath is a no passing zone. That's pretty narrow. You just go down there. And then when you get on Myers, you're going to take a left going south, and here's where everybody needs to pay attention. Sprinters, it's already marked on the pavement. Take a look up there. You'll say Sprint, right-hand lane, International, left-hand lane. Sprint is going to turn right onto Mission, because their race is just about done. They're going to come Mission to Pacific. Somewhere in there's going to be your dismount line. You're going to go back into transition. International, you are going to go straight on Cleveland up to, I believe it is about Seagaze, and then a left on Pacific, and now International, pay attention, because this is something you're going to want to know. Pacific, there are 3 coned lanes there. As we start out, cone lane furthest to the east is vehicles, middle lane and lane furthest to the west are bikes, one going out, one coming in. Each of those lanes is about 11 feet wide, so there is room to pass. When you get to Wisconsin, it's going to switch. The bikes are going to go to the furthest east and the middle, and then we have to allow access for some of the condos down there. You get to the turnaround. It is a sharp U-turn for a turnaround. Come back up Pacific. Second set of signs for everybody. Second lap, take a right. Bike finish or transition straight ahead. You have to do 2 loops of this half also. Loop B, so you're going to make a right, go up Mission, get back on Cleveland, and go out and do this entire second section again. Second time when you come back, you're going to go straight ahead, get to the dismount line where the sprinters are coming in, and rack your bike. It's simpler than it sounds, but I want to make sure we explain it. And again, it is all very well marked. Mile markers will be every 5 miles out there. If you break down, get off to the side of the course wherever you can. Endurance House will be out there. They'll get you going again if they can. If you can fix it yourself, that's great. If none of those things apply, we'll have vehicles that'll bring you back in here. If that happens, or if at any point during the race, you decide you're going to pull out, or your bike decides you're going to pull out, make sure we get your timing chip back right away. That's not only a timing device, it's a way that we keep track of you. We know how many people get in the water. The numbers need to match up coming out. Same thing on the bike, same thing on the run. And if we've got somebody that we can't account for, that gets all of our emergency personnel really going looking for everybody. So make sure you pull out, get us that timing chip back right away. Big things on the bike. Look for those signs. Ride right, pass left, 3 bike links back. And remember, everybody does 2 loops of 76. International, you also do 2 loops of Pacific. Questions on the bike before I move on to the run? Yes. 3 lanes on Pacific, correct. The cars, and this is all clearly marked with the tape and the cones, but the cars from Seagaze to Wisconsin are on the east lane. When you get to Wisconsin, it's going to switch. Bikes are going to go across, and cars will be on the west lane. Okay, and it'll be coned. The bike course guy said if all they have to do, we don't even need to cone it if they just follow the orange arrows, but it will be coned and you'll be separated from them. Anything else on a bike? All right, let's talk about the run. And again, everybody does the first half of the run, so sprint and international alike. Let me mention a couple cutoffs. Everybody needs to be off the bike course at 10:30. Everybody needs to be out of the water by 7:50, 7:50. That means sprinters, that gives you 30 minutes to do that quarter mile from the start of the last wave. Just so you know, we do have hard cutoffs tomorrow. All right, run course is over here. You're going to come out of transition in the northeast corner. Make a hard left, run down to Pacific, and then a sweeping right running north on Pacific on the furthest west lane. You're going to run down Pacific to Surf Rider. Make a left and come down to the Strand, and then a right. Follow around all the way up. We're going to get back up on Pacific, go just about to the bridge. U-turn, come back down here to the Strand. And now you're going to go all the way to this walkway right over here. You're going to come up the middle fork, make a right-hand turn, and all the way up to Pacific on the north fork. Now you're up running right across, right up above us here. Let's see, this little section here until you get to Seagaze. Then you're dropping back down and taking a left. You're staying on the Strand all the way to Wisconsin. That's your turnaround. Coming right straight back here to the corner of Seagaze, and that's where your next sign is going to be. And that's going to be second lap, right, and you'll go up the hill. Finish line straight ahead. So sprinters, you do 1 lap of that, and then you come right straight to the finish, which is right down here. International, you're going to run up the hill, take a left on Pacific, and now this time you're going to go just to the South Fork on the walkway and take that down, and you are going to join, you're going to get on the Strand right over here, follow down, you'll meet the people doing their first right at this roundabout, and then follow back up, and just retrace your footsteps all the way, and this time you're going to go to the finish. So 2 laps international, 1 lap sprint. Aid stations about every mile. The first aid station you hit outside of the transition area will be right here at the corner of Pacific. That will be our cliff shot zone. That means everybody will hit that right as they start their run. International, you will hit that a second time as we are hitting just about the 5K mark for you, maybe a 1/10 of a mile more than that. So you'll hit that. There are restrooms at, I believe there will be in transition, and then at all of the other aid stations out here, there are hard restrooms that are there, and water and Gatorade at all of the aid stations. While you're out on the course, swim, bike, or run, you get in a bind, let somebody know. We have plenty of people. We got guards, we got medical personnel everywhere, so let somebody know. We'll either get you to what you need or get what you need to you. Let me back up on the bike course. There are mile markers every 5 miles. They're every mile on the run. Course cutoff is noon. So make sure that that you're aware of that. Hit that cutoff. Questions on that before I wrap things up? Yes, sir. I probably meant 8:50. Yeah, 8:21, so it's 8:50. You're absolutely right. Thanks. I was in the wrong time zone for a minute.
If it was 7:50, I was out.
Hey, never underestimate yourself. Anything else? That's right. Anything could happen. The right set of circumstances. Yes?
So you have family that's coming to watch us go in the water, and then they want to come back up. So will there be shuttles running?
Yes, the shuttles run continually from 4:30 until 10. It's a half-mile walk from the shuttle to the swim start and back. It's by Joe's Crab Shack, but absolutely. And you know, if they can watch you and then you head out on the bike and then they can get back to transition, this is a great spot, especially if somebody's doing the international, because you can see people go by and come by. You see people coming to train. It's just a great viewing facility right in this area. Plenty of times to cheer you on. Yes, sir. Shuttles are going both directions. Yes, I can't guarantee the speed at which they will get you here, but you can absolutely get back and forth. They run from 4:30 until 10 round trips. Okay? Let me just wrap up a couple of things here. Everybody at Toyota, Lifetime, all of our sponsors want you to have a great experience tomorrow. So if you need something, just let us know. We will do our best to accommodate you. I'll be in transition before you get there in the morning. We'll be making announcements. My buddy Rudy Novotny will be up here in T2 helping you out. If you need things, he'll help you out. And throughout the day, just let us know if there's anything we can do to help you out. Great post-race party that'll be going on right over here in the auditorium area. Right now, I want to mention that over in the Toyota area, Sarah Haskins, Hunter Kemper, Andy Potts signing autographs. They'll be over here in about 25 minutes. We'll do a Q&A, so if you want to think of questions for them. Otherwise, you can rack your bike, you can pick up your packet, you can visit with our sponsors. But from everybody at Toyota, Lifetime, and all of our sponsors, have a great race, have a safe race. We'll see you later today or see you in the morning, everybody.